Here is part 2 of lesson 8.6 for geometry, law of cosines. Read through the problem and draw a triangle. Pause the video until you're ready to see the picture. Here's the picture that I came up with. So the two things that we need to check first is where is the angle and where is the side opposite it. So that's going to happen here and here in our law of cosine equation. So my setup is c squared equals 47 squared plus 54 squared minus 2 times 47 times 54 times the cosine of 85. And remember, the 47 and the 54 can be changed in order. So then we're going to simplify. I'm just going to plug this long strand into my calculator from left to right, and I should be getting 4,682 and some decimal. So why don't you try that? Check to see if you get the same answer as me. And then the last thing we want to do is take the square root of that answer and get 62.4. This is the type of problem that we worked on during part 1. Let's get a step harder. You are planning to set up your backyard with a grill, patio furniture, and a sprinkler in a triangular layout as shown. To the nearest tenth of a degree, what is the measure of the angle where the sprinkler is located? So this is the angle we're trying to figure out. So this is the side that matches it. So that's going to go in here and here. So let's write our equation. So 6 is going to square, and that equals 11 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 11 times 7 times the cosine, and this is what we don't know, is the angle, so I'm going to call that x. So I'm going to simplify this and this on my calculator. So I get 170 minus 154. Now this is where our problem is different. These two things are connected by multiplication, so the negative 154 and the cosine of x. So my first plan is to get rid of the 170. So I'm going to subtract it. And you are going to get a negative number. So I'm getting negative 134. So this part I just subtracted off, so I get negative 154 times the cosine of x. So now my next step is to divide by negative 154. And that will cancel off the 154. So then I have the cosine of x is equal to that decimal number. So now to get rid of the cosine, I need to take the inverse cosine. So x is equal to the inverse cosine of the 0.8701. So then my calculator gives me about 29.5 degrees for my angle. And that's why this one is a step harder. When you don't know what the angle is, then you have a little more work involved with your problem. So let's try another one. Number 8. We need to figure out which angle we need. So it says find angle A, so I'm going to mark that. That is our unknown. So the side that matches with that is 23. So that's what's going in for C and for capital C. So I'm going to start out with 23 squared equals 17 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 times 17 times 19 times the cosine of x. So these are the two things I want you to find on your calculators. So you should be getting 650 and 646. So we need to isolate the cosine. So my first step is going to be to subtract 650. And I'm getting negative 121 equals negative 646 times the cosine of x. And now I'm going to divide by negative 646. And there's my decimal. So the cosine of x is equal to 0.1873. And now to get rid of the cosine, we want to do the inverse cosine of that. So that second cosine of the answer for 79.2. And remember, I'm showing every step of work under the sun. You don't need to show everything unless you need to. So why don't you get number 9 set up? Check your setup with mine. Here's my angle that we're trying to figure out, and the 22 is opposite that. So we start out with 22 squared. The next thing we need to do is simplify and find these two purple things separately. And notice that both of those purple things are 4,050. Then I'm going to subtract the first one. and I get negative 35.66. Then I need to divide by the negative 40.50. And I get 0.8805. And our last step is to do the inverse cosine. So our angle is about 28.3 degrees. This concludes my video for today.